as a summer hill station during the colonial era. This mountainous area enjoys a pleasant climate throughout the year. The city name Kurseong in the regional language refers to the locally grown little white orchid flower, though more prolific these days are the tea garden estates, all 78 of them in the Kurseong area. The city population is listed at around 42,000. The first radio broadcasting station in Kurseong was a shortwave facility due to the fact that shortwave coverage in the high hills and huge valleys provides better propagation than medium wave or FM. The studios were installed in the Mater Club building, which is located a little downhill from the towers and transmitters at the top of the tourist venue, Eagles Craig. The first shortwave transmitter was a temporary 2 kilowatt unit that was taken into service on June 2nd, 1962. Programming was from Delhi and Calcutta, as relayed off-air from AIR Calcutta on shortwave, 300 miles distant. Among the languages heard from AIR Kurseong were English, Hindi, Nepali, as well as the national languages in Sikkim, Bhutan and Tibet. 6 months later, a new 20 kilowatt shortwave transmitter was installed, and this replaced the original smaller unit. The larger transmitter, an American-made Gates model HF-20BX, was activated in January 1963. The original intent for this transmitter was for installation at Trivandrum in Kerala, South India, but due to rising international tension in the northern border areas at the time, it was quickly diverted for installation at Kurseong. Back then, there was no AIR radio station in Kurseong. 32 years later, the 20 kilowatt transmitter was now old, and it needed replacing. A 50 kilowatt Indian-made BEL transmitter model HHB-144 from Bangalore was thus installed, and it was taken into service in 1995. However, a score of years later, this transmitter was also getting old, and there were times when it malfunctioned and it was on the air at reduced power, or even off the air altogether. In fact, just 1 year ago, on July 30th, 2019, AIR Kurseong shortwave was officially decommissioned. However, since then, AIR headquarters in Delhi has reversed that decision, and instead, a new 50 kilowatt analog transmitter will be installed in the transmitter building at Kurseong in the northern areas of the Indian state of West Bengal. That is a most welcome move that's the reverse of what's happening in some other parts of the world. Perhaps this new shortwave unit will be activated sometime next year. Not so well known, though, is that there was also a medium wave transmitter located in Kurseong, a 1 kilowatt unit on 1440 kilohertz, with programming intended for the local area, much of which was relayed from AIR Kolkata. AIR Kurseong medium wave was on the air for about 17 years, all within this 21st century. The second city we're looking at today is the northern regional city of Siliguri, with its 750,000 population, also located in the foothills of the mighty Himalaya in the northernmost section of the Indian state of West Bengal. Siliguri lies about a dozen miles south of Kurseong and just half a dozen miles from the northernmost border with Bangladesh. The area is noted for its abundance of wildlife, including 243 different bird species. The first radio station in Siliguri was activated late in the year 1963 with 20 kilowatts on 1560 kilohertz. This AIR transmitter was installed 2 miles out of town on Sivoki Road, State Highway 10, which runs northward towards Sikkim. The operating frequency for AIR Siliguri was subsequently changed to 700 kilohertz, and later again to 711 kilohertz. Then, some 40 years ago, 2 transmitters at 100 kilowatts each were installed, and these days this station can run in the analog mode or the digital mode. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Ray Robinson at KVOH in Los Angeles. 2 weeks ago, Jerry Plummer and I were discussing Day 3 of the High Frequency Coordination Conference, or HFCC, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which took place at the end of February this year. as the coronavirus crisis was quickly spreading around the world. Today we continue talking with Jerry about the meeting. This was recorded at the conference in Kuala Lumpur, and we began by discussing what's called the Group of Experts meeting. There were a few interesting topics. One of them I wasn't aware of, but I guess Sergio was, because he spent a month at a work conference, World Administrative Radio Conference in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, which sounds like hard work for a month.
Isn't that pretty close to Cairo?
But it's on the Red Sea, and I understand it's very nice.
Doesn't sound too bad. Yeah.
But anyway, they did discuss some important business, I guess. They're relating to radio issues that come up every 4 years, these World Administrative Radio Conferences.
Right.
And one of the items was, I guess, a petition by the HFCC to users of the aviation bands, asking them not to interfere with broadcast stations that are adjacent to these aviation bands.
That's right.
Because as I understand it, some of these stations can go out of band a little ways into the HF broadcasting. And in the primary areas that they were talking about were 3.4 to 3.5 megahertz and 17.9 to 17.97 megahertz. Do you guys use either?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I paid particular attention to what he was saying, because one of our strongest long-term frequencies is 3215. Down so low, it's almost medium wave.
Yeah.
But it just has a wide appeal, you know. And I thought, well, at 3400, that's getting a little bit close, you know. Do you guys have some in the 17s?
I think we used to about 17.790, I think. But we haven't used that lately. We're up in, believe it or not, 21.525.
You're in the 21s, I think.
Yeah, but we're going to Africa only.
People seem to be thinking that gets out into Africa. It seems maybe that's way up. That's high. But
It seems like really high, but Dan Elye, who's the former WIFR manager,